Ben Carpenter understands that everyone deserves to have a home and family they can call their own. This is why he adopted babies that no one wanted. However, sometimes things don't always go as planned. He was left heartbroken when something unexpected happened. In the UK, the statistics for adoption prove that children from minor ethnic backgrounds and those with disabilities have lesser chances of being adopted. Most people want to adopt children within 18 to 24 months and reflect the ethnic background of the adopters. According to the Chief Executive of Adoption UK, Sue Armstrong, more parents are needed to provide homes for children who are described to be harder to place. These are children who fall into minority ethnic backgrounds. She said, "Adoption can have a transformative effect on these children. The testimony of adoptive parents is proof that you can successfully parent children who are deemed harder to place if the right support is in place." One man took up the challenge of adopting children that find it harder to get a home, Ben Carpenter. He is a 36-year-old former special needs worker from Huddersfield. From his early teen years, Ben has always wanted to be a father. He said, "I always wanted to adopt. When I was younger, I worked with children and adults with disabilities and knew if I was going to adopt, I'd adopt children with additional needs or those classed as hard to place. I always wanted to be a father too." When he became 21, the Briton decided he was going to adopt his first child. However, because it was his first time, the process was slower and more difficult than he expected. This is because the agency found it difficult to accept a single adoptive parent. Still, he didn't let that discourage him. "When I started, it was much longer, and I had to prove myself. I was told I was the youngest gay male to adopt. I was 21. I adopted one child. My first child was a quirky child who was diagnosed with autism. But over the years, the needs of the children I've adopted have got bigger than just a child with a minor disability." Now, you would think handling a child with a minor disability is too much for a single adoptive parent, but not Ben. Adopting his first child, Jack, who has obsessive-compulsive disorder, did not deter him from fathering more. Instead, it spurred him to adopt more children. He adopted a girl. Ruby has a condition called Pierre-Robin syndrome, which affects the head and face and problems with movements in her arms. It is a rare congenital birth defect that leads to an underdeveloped jaw, backward displacement of the tongue, and upper airway obstruction. Then he adopted Lily, who is deaf, and she's also Ruby's half-sister. Yet he didn't stop there. He also took in Joseph, who needs a colostomy bag and has Down syndrome, and Louis, who has cerebral palsy and is blind. Isn't that amazing? Now, if you've been counting, you would know that Ben has adopted 5 children. I know, it's incredible. But what if I tell you he adopted a 6th? He became Noah's father. The young boy suffered from a rare genetic disorder called Cornelia de Lange syndrome, which meant he had complex needs which were life-limiting. This disease causes slow growth before and after birth, leading to short stature, which results in intellectual disability that is usually moderate to severe, and abnormalities of bones in the arms, hands, and fingers. But Ben wanted to give the boy a home, so he took him in. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what could go wrong for Ben and his kids? What could disrupt such an inspiring story? When asked why he likes to adopt kids, the Huddersfield native said, "All of the children I've adopted have been between newborn age and 2 years. Their needs range from cerebral palsy, autism, physical disability and abnormalities, fetal alcohol syndrome, deafness, and Down syndrome. I love it. I love everything. One of the best things is being able to be called Dad. It's amazing when a child calls you Daddy. I've loved the Christmases, the milestones. Not so much the 2 a.m. wake-ups, but that just comes with parenting. I've loved the holidays, seeing them smiling, seeing them achieve. I was told my eldest daughter would never walk, talk, or eat. She is now doing all 3 to the best of her ability." Ben states that adopting 6 kids was overwhelming, but he knew he could cope. With the help of his friends and family who serve as his support system, he's been able to meet the needs of his children. The Englishman explains that he's also been helped by the professionals he worked with while he was a special needs worker. He has taught himself not to see the disability, but to see the child who needs help. And he also has a good relationship with his children's biological parents. "I have a great rapport with my children's birth parents, some of which have open adoptions, so I see and meet up with them. Contrary to what many believe, that the kids are lucky to have him, the father of 6 states that it is the other way around. They are the most wonderful children. You know, people say that children are lucky to have you, but I'm so lucky to have them. They enrich my life in every way, Ben said. However, less than a month after adopting his sixth child, Noah, life happened. In May 2019, he was permitted to adopt his fourth son by a high court judge who commended him for being a good father. Ben said, "It's a lovely feeling, to be honest. Firstly, the child is no longer a looked-after child. They are officially yours. They are no longer in the care system, and they have your surname. They are part of the family unit. As a parent, that is a wonderful feeling. For the child, if they are aware, it is a feeling of security. The judge said this little boy is very lucky to have found me, and I should be commended on what I offer, not only for him, but in adopting 5 children with disabilities. This wonderful man has been called a super dad, but he disagrees with the tag. I'm just me. I'm not a super dad. I just love what I do. I guess what I do is extraordinary, but I'm just me, and anyone who knows me knows that," he said. Noah is the most placid child that the adoption champion has ever cared for. His foster father states that he rarely cries and that he has the most laid-back personality. And the young boy was showered with love by his siblings. They adore him. The girls do mother him and want to do more than I allow them to. They are children, and I don't want them to take on a parental role. Noah has fitted right in. A few weeks after he was adopted, the little boy had a stomach infection that led to complications. This illness led to the special boy's death. After his death, his father said, "At 3:30, my beautiful baby boy passed away. Words cannot describe how numb I'm feeling right now." Ben describes Noah's death as sudden and unexpected. Doctors explained that his stomach complications led to heart problems. Although the young boy didn't live a long life, I am grateful that he had a family that cared for and loved him. Ben's story is proof that parenting is much more than being biologically linked to the child. He said, "My story is rare, I know. I'm not asking people to do the same, but don't underestimate yourself. Adoption is tough, so just by signing up, you're already proving yourself to be a strong person. I just think, why can't these children have the chance? I love them dearly." If you think Ben would stop at 6 kids, well, you are wrong. The former special needs worker said, "Never say never. I only ever wanted 1 child all those years ago, and 2 turned into 3. Fostering, maybe. Who knows what's around the corner? Don't you just love how committed he is?" The man from West Yorkshire now has another goal in sight. He has set up a fundraiser to help him get $10,000. This money will be used to build a new sensory home that will help develop his children's senses through special lighting, music, and objects. I hope he gets it sooner rather than later. And if you ask me, we need more Bens in this world. What part of this story did you find the most inspiring? I hope to see you next time.